live yet. Are we live? We are live. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Extra Connections Soap Talk. I am James Lott Jr. of JLJ Media. I am JLJ Media, so I mean, whatever. But we're here, and we're back in an episode. I like bringing people on here to talk about different topics, and these gentlemen talk about the same topics I do, and that is soap operas. Soap operas make up for almost 50% of my success in this business. I tried to leave, and I brought me back in. So for the last 7-8 years, I've been doing soap opera work for years, working with stuff. So these two guys have their own channels too. So we're going to do that. So I want to introduce them first, and then I'll do the church announcements. I'll introduce them first. The first guy, there's a reason why I have him on here, because we don't all agree on everything, which is not a bad thing. It's just fucking soap operas. Who gives a fuck? But I do respect that he does his own channel, and he does reviews. He does the kind of stuff on there. Albert Bostic is here. Hi, Albert.
How you doing?
Welcome
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Great. Hi, Natasha. Thanks for coming in. And this guy, actually, he does some audio dramas with me. I didn't realize it was him until later. I was like, wait a minute, I already know you already kind of for this, but you're this also? Anyway, he has a channel too. It's DC Soap Sanctuary. It's a channel. He had his first interview with my buddy Fido Xavier recently. We'll talk about that, of course. And he does reviews and sometimes parodies. Let's welcome DC Constant of DC Soap Sanctuary.
Hey guys, thank you for having me on, James. I really appreciate it. This is gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this.
I would do my church announcements first because there's a lot I got to do. So hi everybody coming in the chat room. Please come on in, have a drink or not, or coffee, whatever. Come on in, and the water's fine for now. We're gonna be talking. So if you want to help James Lott Jr. and continue doing this for the rest of my unnatural life, we have super chats are enabled. So you want to do those? I'm putting a little thing right here. They are enabled. There's a little button below. If you want to hit that, you can do that. Also, if you want to support any other ways, there is buymeacoffee.com. I got 3 coffees today. So thank you folks for doing that. That helps creatives keep it going because I'm an entrepreneur and I work for myself. Also, we have merch. jljmedia.threadless.com. No, my face isn't on any of the stuff, but who knows one day. Anyway, this show is channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Chat in the chat room, as you guys always do. Let me know what you think of whatever we say. And welcome these two gentlemen. And also part of this thing is go follow them. At the end of the show, we're going to tell you where you can follow them. Go follow them. Hi, gentlemen. That's the church announcements brought to you by the fine folks at JLJ Media. So, okay, there are several. There are a lot of podcasts that do opinion television and do soap stuff, and some of them are our friends, but they're all audio. But it's not a lot of video. People who do a lot of opinion on a regular basis. I'm going to name some that are out there. Hi, Simone. Hi, Ethel. Hi, Lori. Hi, Judy. Hi, you guys. Yes. Maura West is a queen. We haven't got there yet, folks. Okay, we'll get there in a second. They're getting ahead of me. There's the popular Brock TV. I don't know him. Do you guys know him? He don't follow me. I follow him.
I follow him.
And he gets decent numbers, and he does all kinds of stuff, and he does almost daily reviews. So Brock TV, he's been around for a while. He black, so I subscribe to his channel. I follow him on Twitter. He don't do nothing for me, but I do follow for him. I'm gonna say I don't care, but I still support him because he's out there doing his thing. There's my buddy who's from Canada, a Canadian black. He does Dion's Corner and Envious 01. I don't know if you guys know him.
GH Envy, right?
GH Envy, yes.
Envy, yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard.
Yeah, he's been on my show several times. My show, I love him. He has that whole basement vibe. He does it from his basement, and he's kind of this alternative kid. And he talks about General Hospital. So we support him fully, and he has the Gap. Mind the Gap. We love it. He's on there. And then there's the newer, my other friends, and also one of the guys who does my audio dramas, 10th Floor GH. They're white, but they're a mother and son duo, which is very different. A mother and son doing soaps together, Matt and Kat. They're friends of ours, and they were doing audio for a couple of years. Now they're doing video. And so they do live. They're the only ones that I think do live besides me. We do live every week, all the time, which is not easy. So I want to give them their shout outs. Then we have these two. So I want to start with you, Albert, first. My first question to you is, what was your first soap and how old were you?
I think I was in high school, and it was One Life Left. I remember watching the end of it, and it just seemed like a very taboo. But I was like, you know what? I want to sit there and check it out. And then when it was over, I was like, oh, I gotta see the next episode. And then it just went from there.
So watch literature entry. What made you decide to do actual opinion television, like actually talk about it and review it?
Rock TV actually, because I used to watch
Nice.
his channel for a while, and he did GH. I'm like, you know what? I've been watching GH for a while and stuff like that. So I was like, let me sit there and try. So one episode I got really angry and I just did like this angry rant. And then I felt better about it. I was like, you know what? That was fun. Let's do this tomorrow. And I just started from there.
Lori Coral says, hi, Albert, love One Life to Live. Yes, One Life to Live was good. Now I'm gonna ask you the same question, DC. What was your first soap and how old were you?
Okay, so my first soap was All My Children. I was 12 years old. And I think it was the time they were at Wild Winds where Erica and Bianca are trying to corner JR, and he decided to jump out the window. And I was like, so I got to know what's happening come Monday morning. I'm like in 7th grade and the summer's about ready to get started. And I was just like, yeah, I got to know what's gonna happen next. So it was All My Children, but I'm a super One Life to Live fan though, still to this day, die hard One Life to Live fan though. I want to put that out there.
Everybody's ABC. Hi, Susan. Hello, Janice. Thanks, guys, for joining in on us. 17 people. Thank you. Keep coming in. So everybody's asking what's mine. So mine, I'm a little older than these gentlemen are. Black don't crack. But my first soap was in 1976, and it was Another World. My sister watched it, and I ended up coming in the room and watching it with her. And my second soap was Young and the Restless. My mother watched it. So those are the first two that I saw and was like, recognized, oh, those are soap operas. Okay, got it. And then on my own, I started watching Luke and Laura. In the 70s, I was watching General Hospital, but I watched the whole lineup. It was Ryan's Hope, All My Children, Why to Live, General Hospital, Edge of Night. So I watched the whole thing in the late 70s or early 80s. So that was my first foray. Kate Valentine says, hey, Albert's popular today. Hey, Albert, nice collaboration, guys. What about DC? Little handsome man over here. Everybody talk to him. Everybody talking to Albert. He's the star today, I guess. Come on, Albert.
I forgot to say, was it the second part of your question? I forgot to answer that part. I think it was like how I got started.
Oh yeah, no, I know I hadn't asked you that yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking you right now, but don't ask you that now. And we're all in there. Okay. No, but I was going to ask you. So, what made you decide? Because somebody was asking me, "What about you, James?" I'll answer right now. What made you decide to talk about soap operas?
Well, when I first started, I was like really wanted to do a YouTube channel, and I was thinking I was going to do relationship and life advice. My brother was just like, man, everybody's doing that crap. Do something else. And my brother was just like, you're a diehard soap opera fan. Why don't you do it? And I was like, do you think there's an audience for that on YouTube? Come to find out there was, but when I started looking, there's a whole lot of that. I feel like everybody and their mama is doing reviews and talking about soaps. But I was like, is there an audience for that? So when I started looking, I found Brock TV and then Albert, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I was like, all right, so I think I'm ready to do this. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this channel. And I decided, I'm gonna put my own little DC spin on it. Sometimes I do some little corny parodies and stuff like that from time to time. I'm like, okay, it's a soap channel, we could work it into it and have some fun with it. So that was kind of like my start with it. And it's been a year now so far.
Very good. Okay, very good. Everybody's telling me my first soap was 2001, As the World Turns. Someone said Days. Another person, General Hospital. Yeah, that's all these soaps. There were once 24 soaps on the air at one time. Now there's 4. I can't even do it. Yeah, 4. It's only 4. How sad is that?
I remember there was 9 when they had the 9 on there back in 06.
Yes. Because well, wasn't it 13? Or maybe it was 9. I thought, I'm trying to think who was, because I know in 2009, the CBS shows went off the air. 2011, the ABC ones went off the air. I thought it was maybe it was 9. I was like, but it was way more than 4. Yeah. And counting Beyond Salem, I guess the spinoff, there's 5 or 4.5. Ethel, yes, you do beat me in age. She's watched the General Hospital from the very beginning in 1963. So yes. And each channel had its own set of shows, and they had their own spin. I used to watch Passions and Sunset Beach and Santa Barbara and all those. They had their own way of doing that. And ABC had their own way of when he did things. And CBS had their own very New York feel, except for Young and the Restless. They had their own kind of, as Young and the Restless, for me, a lot of Black folks watched that show because there were Black folks on the show. So I know, like, my mom said she was pregnant with my brother, and I watched it when I was pregnant with your brother, and we all watched it together. And so it's kind of funny how now that has changed. Do you guys think that soaps will last in America? Any one of you go first. I mean, it's kind of what the trend is, kind of like they're dying out, but are they really dying out?
Oh, go ahead, Albert.
You want to go first?
Okay, I'll tackle it. I want to say that they won't die out, but after when they took out Guiding Light after 72 years, I feel like anybody can get it. I'll just be honest. I feel like anybody can get it. When they took out Guiding Light was an institution at that point in time. And I think now Coronation Street, the British soap, is now the longest running drama.
Right, yeah, right.
So they took that title from us. But once they took out Guiding Light, I was like, yeah, anybody can get it. Because I didn't think they would touch it. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. I didn't think they would touch Guiding Light. Once they did that, I was like, yeah, I think anybody can get it.
Yeah. Albert, what do you think?
In a lot of ways, yes. Just because there's a lot of shows that put soap opera elements in there. There's not one show that I can't think of that doesn't have some form of it in there. So it's like, yeah, I don't want it to be, but I feel like it might head that way.
You bring up a good point, because I say this all the time. Nighttime streaming, storyline arcs, that came from soap operas. Cliffhangers came from soap operas. That was the whole thing. And they don't call it soap opera. They won't say it. A Million Little Things, that was a soap opera. This Is Us, that was a soap opera. The last time they said soap opera possibly would have been Desperate Housewives, maybe. They kind of touted it as a soap opera. Lost was a soap opera. But Star Wars is a soap opera. I watched The Mandalorian and all these other shows. They're all soap operas. They're space operas or whatever, or space soaps. But it basically have the same kind of elements that you find in a soap opera. I'm tired of soaps getting a bad rap, being treated like the little stepchild. It seems like it's like you guys all took from the soaps and brought them to prime time and streaming. But you want to call it that way? I think it's kind of wrong to do that. But also, I want to ask you guys. Okay, so here's a question: realism versus with outrageousness. Some soaps do outrageousness very well. Days of Our Lives is known. Nobody's really dead on Days of Our Lives. They all come back. The mirrors come back all the time, right? But people say they want realism on soaps. The other people say they don't. They go to escape because the world is, let's say what it is. It's fucked up right now. We're going to hell in a handbasket, basically. So people say they want to go for an hour and escape somewhere. But then there are people who say, I want to go at least see some kind of realism in either whether it's a relationship thing or a social justice thing. What are each of your takes on that? We're going to go into some details on a few things that we'll talk about. But it's in general. Oh, thank you, Kate Valentine. Albert is the best on every. Wow, Albert, you're the man. Well, thanks, Kate Valentine, for the super chat. I appreciate that. But this to you, yes, Albert.
Thank you.
So, Albert, you go first. That's what I want to know. What do you think about the versus the outrageous, like the devil stuff, versus a race thing that happens on a show or a sexual thing or whatever?
You know what? What it really comes down to is all that stuff comes down to balance. Okay. It comes down to balance. I mean, yeah, you want entertainment, but at the same time, we can't ignore certain situations, kind of like the Trina trial, you know? And even though that, like, me and you went back and forth about, like, oh, you know, was it necessary? Was it appropriate or not or whatever? At the end of the day, it was still a conversation that needed to be had. With that being said, every show doesn't need to be heavy-handed with a message because, like you said, entertainment is important. So, you know.
Yes, we did, folks. We did come back. I think, well, no, you did say you're not a parent. So you said there was something, a lot of us parents spoke to you kind of saying, well, as a parent, it would be a natural conversation about their daughter.
Exactly.
Black daughter or a black son. I think it's what again. You said, I said, okay, I can see that. You kind of, we're all watching our shows from our own experience, our own lens. So I kind of get that point. I was like, because to me, I just felt like, well, folks who are not black, I didn't want them talking about it, but of course they're talking about it. And of course they hated it, of course. And that's to me, it's all very predictable. That's very predictable, obviously. But I was really curious because the black folks were talking about it. I thought that's very cool. Everybody's kind of weighing in on it. And I just thought it was a beautiful scene between Portia and Stella. I thought it was realistic that any Black person would talk about that when it comes to the jail system and the system.
No, no, you were right about that. I think it caught me off guard when it just came, because I felt like it came out of nowhere, but then I had to sit there and think like, all right, I'm looking at it from my point of view. I'm not looking at it from a parent's point of view. And it was sort of the same thing when when Jordan and Portia had a conversation about Liz. And I'm like, and people came at Brock TV sideways because he talked about it like it needed to happen, and it did. So,
I mean, the Cameron thing, you mean? The Cameron stuff?
Yeah, yes.
I know, because I don't know you two Black men. When I saw that scene, it did trigger me a little bit. Like, if he were Black,
yeah,
we are. I mean, you know what I mean? It's kind of like GH decided to go there. And I was like, okay, they're kind of going, because like Days went a little further. I was very proud of the fact when it came to when Theo got shot, he was wearing a hoodie, got shot, and A was like, suddenly A was Black. I made a joke about that. Suddenly he's Black now. So I get where Albert's coming from. No, I do. I get where Albert's coming from. There's so many soaps they really don't. And James Reynolds is my friend. We're good friends. I love it. He loved the story. We talked about it. He loved the storyline. But you're right. A was always kind of just like there. The Black part is not talked about so much. So I get what Albert says. Like all of a sudden this kind of comes out. You're like, where'd that come from? At first. But in a way, it's like it should happen more. I think that's probably what it is. But DC, what are your thoughts on realism versus outrageousness on soap operas?
I have to definitely would agree with what Albert said in terms of balance, because I remember the conversation happened with Aunt Stella and oh gosh, why am I blanking on her name right now? Portia. And I actually really enjoyed that scene. I didn't feel like there was a proper build up to it, but I did enjoy the scene. I will say that with soaps, it is about that balance, because I do feel like in a way that soaps lately these past few years have kind of almost shied away from any talk of these type of things. That was one of the reasons why I enjoyed One Life to Live, because I felt like, not even just from the time I watched, I felt like almost through its inception, they did one in terms of like diversity and all that type of stuff and inclusion. They did it the best. They did it well. I can't say that, but they did the best out of all the other soaps, because they weren't afraid to shy away from those type of topics on the shows, which I feel like gave it a sense of like realism. But there would be times where they had a little bit of fantasy, where I think it was Dorian was dating this woman named Mel. They got married, and she had the dead spirit of her husband. So they had a mixture of the two in there, and she was trying to make a statement for gay rights on the show. So I do feel like that element, because GH is not really, my opinion, I don't feel like GH is really known for social issue storylines, maybe with the exception of Robin Stone. I feel like they, from what I've seen.
I think you're kind of right. I think you're actually kind of right about that.
The GH never really covered that type of stuff. One Life to Live, All My Children, I feel like it was all day long, probably One Life to Live the most. Because when you were talking earlier about the 3 different networks, they did kind of have a style. And to me, when I was growing up, I felt like the style that I saw from them was like, NBC was like these out of the box storylines. Yes. CBS daytime was a little more conservative, especially Guiding Light. They were very PG. And then ABC daytime was like youthful and boom, boom, boom. Yes. You know what I mean? They kind of had that energy. They went there with all these different types of storylines that they tackled. So I do feel like it's about that good balance to have with that, honestly, because I want to see both.
So it brings up Eterna on Life to Live. Yes, they went to Eterna, which is down below, and all that, and Vicky and all that. I remember all that, and Vicky, Nikki, and all the altars and all stuff. Yeah, they did a lot of stuff, but all that stuff was about her being abused as a child by her father. It was a lot of stuff. So you both
see how they combined the two with that, like they combined like the realism and then like the fantasy part with her having these wacky altars and stuff. So yeah.
But what are you guys' thoughts on Victoria Rowell? You both know who she is, obviously. She's a legend in daytime. I know her. We have the same birthday. I would say that we have the same birthday. I've talked to her. She's very regal. I love the way she carries herself. But she's been a long time spoken out. You think I speak out? She speaks out. She's been speaking out for a long time about just getting Black writers. And so I wonder, for you guys and like myself, there are times when I like the storyline isn't blackity black. There's Black folks in it. They get the same kind of storylines as everybody else. I like that. But then there are times when I want some Black stuff in there. I got in trouble once. I get in trouble all the time. Where I was like, why couldn't it be I have African-American art on my walls. Why couldn't it just be an art piece on the wall? You don't have to hit away on the head with it. Just put a Annie Lee on the wall behind them. a lot of Black folks have that in their house. I mean, not everybody does. I mean, not all the same, but I always like, I want kind of both. I want it where where it's not just specifically everything's blackity black, but also Black should be in there somewhere. So what do you guys think about that? Because you want the Black folks watching the show too. We'll go back with Albert again. Albert, you go first.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't really understand. You mean like as far as like?
Well, like we're Black folks watching TV. We want to see ourselves represented, but I don't want every story to be focused on a Black thing. I just want us to have the same storylines as anybody would get, but you have to be Black. But I don't want to be ignored. I don't want the Black thing ignored. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of this weird thing. I'm kind of asking, like, do you feel like we should ignore color altogether, or have it kind of in there somewhere? I'm trying to gauge what your feeling is about that part of soaps.
I mean, it's kind of hard to really sit there and answer that. I mean, my whole thing is about entertainment. Now, I mean, definitely it should be represented, as far as all different colors. But my whole thing is about like entertainment. I feel like it still comes back down to balance stuff. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, here's an example, you guys. Do you guys watch Bold and Beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of folks got upset. I didn't get upset. People got upset, called the Mandingo storyline that happened with Carter. Oh, that's a big one. Everybody was talking about it. I kept saying it was a regular, because Lawrence also is a friend of mine. He's also writes for the show. I was saying, I think they were giving him a regular soap storyline, but the optics looked bad for Black folks. I think it was just three white folks in that storyline, no one would have said anything. But the fact that he was Black, and we have that history of the Mandingo and hiring out the Black stud and that stuff, it felt a lot of Black folks got upset. So that's kind of what I mean. I was kind of like, is it okay to just give them a regular storyline and ignore the color if there's a history of stuff? Or should we really always be mindful of optics, I guess? If that makes any sense. A lot of folks got upset about it. I thought it was just a regular storyline. It's like but happen said he's the Black person in the storyline.
That honestly went over my head. Like as far as that storyline went, so it went over my head.
Okay. DC, what do you think about it?
Well, I would say
you
that.
Chuckled when I said it. You chuckled when I said it. I'm sure you saw it also. People were talking about it.
Yeah, I would say this, especially in relation to Victoria Rowell, because she's been very, very vocal these past years ago. She's actually the only soap star I've ever met in person. I met her when I was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, she was doing like a signing at the Free Library of Philadelphia, and she let me come through as the last person line, probably because I was like 10 or 12 at the time. It's probably
funny. Oh, cute.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I would say this in terms of that, like, I could definitely understand us just wanting to have just like, because the thing about it is like viewers always say, oh, the Black character's not getting enough storyline. Then when we do, oh, this is a stereotypical. So like, what do you want us to do here? I understand like a little bit of acknowledging certain things. Like for example, with I want to throw this example out here. It was with Terry and Chet on GH, right? I was hoping that there was going to be a conversation that Terry was transgender and that Chet was a cisgender man or whatever, that they're going to have that conversation just for like 2 seconds or something. Because I feel like in real life that would happen, but it didn't happen. So I understand, like, the thing about it is, like I said with you, just kind of go back to that point, is that it's always like, oh, these people, they're not people, the characters of color not given enough storylines. And then when they do, it's like, oh, this is so stereotypical or this not. Honestly, I did first see it as Carter and Quinn just falling in love. But then when I saw the comic book, I can kind of see sort of that view. But I'm like, I didn't initially see it like that, honestly. I thought, okay, he was just falling in love with his boss's wife, who just so happened to be white.
Yeah, I thought they have chemistry. Go ahead, Albert, please.
No, I mean, like, I agree with that. Like, that's why I was like, I didn't see it, but also, yeah, I just didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see that.
I was one of the people who was like, no, I think it's just a regular, like I said, we're giving him a storyline. And I thought Quarter has chemistry. I think they have chemistry. I think they just really do. And I understood, we had Lawrence on our show, we talked about it. So I understood where Carter was coming from, because I talked to him about it. And so it's just like, for me, but I did see the optics. People were saying in the chat room, they thought it was a regular storyline, but they didn't see the optics. They kept feeling like it's still bad because of the Mandingo stereotype. But then again,
they would be mad if he had no storyline.
There's that too. So like, yeah. Well, it was the same thing with Aaron D. Spears, who's a friend of mine also, and who had that big where he was doing all that stuff all of a sudden. They kept saying for years he was Bill's lapdog. And he said, no, we were best friends. And that's why he got upset towards the end of his storyline. I mean, that's why the show is carrying upset. He was like, I am like your brother. Like, but people say, well, no, he's the black guy. Like, so I was saying for me, that's where I'm not super black on it. I'm just like, no, I see what they're trying to say, that they were best friends. He worked for him, but he wasn't like a slave to him or anything. They were very close. So I don't know, man. That's what it is. I see things all the time. And sometimes I don't think it's black. I think it's just like, well, I see what they're saying.
And I thought they were going to give him more of a storyline after that, but it didn't. I haven't.
Well, I talked to him off camera, and just tell you this.
Why don't they put him back with Donna? They have a son together. Like, I don't understand. It's just a lot of missed opportunities there. But that's the story.
You know why? I'll say it out loud, but you don't always say it out loud, guys. You know why? I won't say it, but you all know why. What happened, Justin? Exactly. He's black. Albert, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna sit there and say, like, I didn't even know, because y'all threw around a term called Mandingo or something, and I didn't know what that was.
Oh,
okay. Like when I said that, they went over my head, like it really went over.
Oh wow! So you didn't know the term? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's black man with big dick. That's basically what it was.
Okay.
That's basically. Oh, I thought you meant the storyline. Oh no. Oh, okay. He's gonna make me say it, folks. Black man, big dick, stud. That's kind of the.
Yeah. People got upset about that. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm just like, really?
No, because it's an old trope thing with there's been books written on it, of course, a lot of slave things where they hired a big black man to service their people, and it's just seen as sexual. And a lot of times it's darker black men, so DC know about that especially, I'm sure. If you're a big black man, dark, they think that automatically. There's just books on it, all kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the stuff. Yeah, that's what it means.
I want to add something, if that's all right. I remember back on YNR when they first put Lily and Kane together.
Yes.
Like there was a lot of outcry in that. But to be honest, if you ask me, Crystal Clear had the best chemistry with Daniel. Like they had the best chemistry, and I didn't. Because here's my thing too. Like what I would see sometimes on soaps, right? I felt like, sometimes being back in my mind where I feel like they would just have all the black characters all huddled together. You know what I'm saying? It's like they were in their own little universe, especially in Genoa City. I'm like, there's a whole bunch of other people out here,
Right.
So a lot of times, this is why, like, even with writers like Carlavati, my personal opinion, I feel like he's one of the best soap writers because I feel like he integrates everybody, together.
He does.
Like, I remember when that happened at that time, there was such an outcry, but I remember at that time, like, she has great chemistry, like, and they're like, oh, why is she not with the black guy? And to be honest, I mean, it's not so much the black or white, but the black guys that she was paired with, the chemistry wasn't there. Not so much because they were black, the chemistry, I didn't see it. But Daniel Goddard, she had that chemistry with him. And it was electrified. Like now with Billy, it's not working for me.
I'm not a Billy Lee fan either. Now the chapter they're bringing up where I got a lot of trouble also. I get in trouble all the time. I don't care. About Trina being drugged in a room full of white people. They're saying in the chapter again. That was a big, big thing. The optics on that, they did not like that either. That she was the only one drugged and she is black. So I don't know how you. So Albert, I know you want to say something. Say it, Albert. Say something.
It's one of those things where it's like it's what DC said. It's like you give them a storyline, and then they do something. It's like, oh well, this is that, and it's like, okay, so if you don't have her do anything, then you're gonna sit there and be like, well, why is she not in the story more? Why is stuff not happening to her? How could she? It's like you can't win. And I said this to you in the chat before. I was like, if you're either gonna be too woke or you're not giving enough something attention. You just can't win.
Yeah. 42 people are in the chat room. Thank you guys coming out on this little Thursday evening.
I just want to say though.
Good. Go ahead.
Please. I was just saying also I feel like there has to be at some point with the stories or the soaps that we are able to transcend optics and just be able to tell the story. If that makes sense, because I don't want to be so focused on the optics that
when there's no racism left in the world, that's what's going to happen. So while we wait for that to happen, back at the ranch, that sounds wonderful, DC. It's a beautiful sentiment. That sounds wonderful.
Because I want people to see beyond just the ops. Because I mean, honestly, I didn't even think about that till you just brought that up. That she was.
I didn't. Same here. And no, trust me, I'm watching everything. And even I was like, that's a little far-fetched. I mean, it's a whole point. I'm like, I mean, but for some people, they see it. And I'm like, I call out red. See, here's the deal. I get in trouble for saying shit like this. I remember Marshall, the dude is a nice brown-skinned man, he has a certain look, that hat all the time on GH, that hat and everything. His replacement. There's this one, they brought this dude on, 50 pounds lighter, got a fucking gray mustache and beard. I'm like, all black folks don't look alike. And that bugs, I call that all the time when I do that. Jordan, all three Jordans are beautiful, but they're all different colors. They're every color of the rainbow. I mean, we got Vanessa Antoine, who was a certain color. Then Brianna Henry was like practically white. And then we could bring on this beautiful dark-skinned chick who they do nothing with, of course. I'm like, I have problems with stuff like that. Like when it comes to black folks, at least try, if you're going to do this, if you establish a certain type of black or care, I think you should do the same coloring, but that's something that, go ahead, Albert. So what do you want to say about that?
I see his face too.
You say something. Say it.
I remember you saying that before on one of your lives, and I was just, I guess for me, kind of was just like, why does that matter? Like that much? Like if she's a good actress and she's playing the character well, why does it matter what shade of black she is? Like, why is that?
Oh, I can tell you, from me, because colorism happens I'm here in Hollywood, it happens so much. And I know there are a lot of actors who would love jobs and who could do a wonderful job in the roles, who are a similar shade as the one before. And a lot of times when it comes to the white actors, they still try to match up skin tone, hair color, everything. A lot of shows, they will match them up. I'm saying these are ones that look so different. And we'll say, forget the one day they come in for one day, that kind of thing. But I mean, in recasting, I feel it's weird. I feel like there is some discrimination going on there with the coloring. I mean, both Trinas are different colors, kind of, but they're not that far off. But they're still, and Zende started out as a dark-skinned black boy from Africa, Bold and the Beautiful, and he's gotten lighter and lighter as they keep recasting him. I think there's a problem with that. To me, I think it does matter. I think representation of coloring does matter. If it's a certain character that's on there and you're recasting it, I think there's enough actors in Los Angeles you can recast it to at least a similar hue.
I want to add to that. I will say that I have noticed that when they do recast with certain black characters, they do look drastically different. So I can kind of see they do look kind of drastically different in terms of skin tone, because I think it was Kristen Alderson who played Star Mandingo White to Live. She was on The Locker Room, and she mentioned that she got passed up for the role of Summer Newman because they wanted actors to look more like her. So I could kind of see that in certain ways, because, okay, even with Trina, I think it's like a primary example. The recast looks completely different than the last Trina. And obviously the most obvious part of it is, we could say maybe it's complexion, I guess, obviously, but they just look so drastic. It's like two different people. In fact, when she came on, because I think I was off GH for a couple of days, I was like, who's that? Not knowing that it was Trina until I saw the captions on my screen,
Look at characters like Nicholas. All Nicholases look very similar. Lulu. The Lulus look I'm just saying, there's something there's something, I don't know if it makes any sense, Albert. Maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at it going, because I hire people I work in Hollywood. I try to hire people. I just feel like there's enough to go around. But if a character is on for 3 or 4 years and establish a certain kind of coloring, because black women, when it comes to hair, it's a different story. Everybody's hair, black women change their hair every second. But I'm like, skin coloring, they do it so much more with the white folks. Well, the black folks it just seems like the optics are, we just got another black person in there. It doesn't matter what they look like or what's going on. And I remember on Want to Live, that famous
Blair.
There's Asian Blair, of course. And then my buddy, of course, that's a famous one. I know you both know about that one, but anyway, so Albert, please go ahead. Please.
No, but I here's the thing, I haven't noticed it with the white actors, so maybe. And also, you gotta sit there and think that we're coming from two different experiences. Like, you've been in the industry, you see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see it a lot more than I do. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm coming at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. Well, I'll make sure. Did I answer your question though? Did we answer it, Albert?
Yeah. No, you did.
The color, why? Okay, make sure we
Yeah,
So
yeah.
another example of that would be Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan when they were on All My Children, because Michael B. Jordan was a recast and totally different hairstyles. Like they did look I gotta be honest, they obviously look completely different.
Yes, right.
So like even that is like another example I'm thinking about, how when they played Reggie, and I think Chadwick was in the role originally, and then Michael B. Jordan recasted him, but they look totally different, completely different in that role.
But I know people, like I said, but it came like my whole thing is Zende. Oh my, I'm Bold and Beautiful. It's like he was this kid who was adopted from Africa and beautiful dark skin, and then it came back with Rome Flynn. Rome Flynn is not super light, but he was like a medium brown. That's fine. But Delonte Metz is very light skinned. I just thought that's just very interesting that he decided, because it happens so much. You all heard about the Keke Palmer Zendaya thing that's going on. They're trying to start, and it's just that, and I think both of you can understand this. All three of us are different shades. It just happens in our culture. It totally happens. We have colorism within Black folks. It's all there, and I want to erase all that. I feel like it's like you say, it should be the best person for the role, but sometimes I'm like, well, if a dark skinned person was there, I wonder how many other dark skinned people they just turned down, say, for the role. I just wonder if they said, I know like 5 women who are beautiful could play Jordan, personally, and they would love the job. I don't even know if they have. I don't even know if they had the option. They have the option to play. So that's why I'm like. So, but if I found somewhere they had the option, they picked the best person, then okay, I'll concede and go okay, because she'll be the best person to play the role. But that's the whole thing. But and also I had to help defend people because they're talking about Black women's hair, and I was like, don't start Black women's hair, people. People have braids. Some days they got hair, as long as they don't, they click it in hair. We had to explain. Me and Diamond White had talked about that on the show. About how her hair and how it is, and why is it blonde, and why is it like, just like, everybody get over yourselves. Everybody has their hair and whatever. But the new Jordan, first of all, she's beautiful. I just want to say, I saw her at the Emmys, and I was like, who the fuck is that? I didn't recognize her at first. She was like a supermodel walking down the runway. I was like, okay, bitch, she worked that shit out. I was like, you go, girl. So she's beautiful. Give her more to do, folks. Give her more to do. Oh, like, come on, folks. And our hot chocolatey men. I'm watching Sean Blakemore on All Rise right now on OWN. GH was dumb to let him go. That man is hot. And my buddy Donnell Turner, of course. Him too. They need to give us some more. I mean, come on, let's get some leading men. Where are the leading men, Black men?
I want to add something real quick.
Yes.
Just about Zendaya.
Yes.
I'm actually willing to accept that they went on the, I don't want to say deep end, but they went very drastic in the recasting because the original Zendaya was a child. So I've always like with source casting, when they source the character, they age them up. I'm willing to just accept that, but I and other casting decisions probably not so much. When it's an adult and they recast that person 3 months later, it's like, come on, we remember what it looked like 3 months ago. So I feel like I'm willing to give a little bit of leeway just on that one. Okay, I see.
That's so cute of you. But I will say this though. Remember, Michael was a redhead when he was a kid. You guys remember that? That actor was good. Dylan Cash. He was a good actor. And they did change to a blonde. So maybe you're right. Maybe there's something there. Maybe I will give you that, DC. I will give you that. I'll give you that. Look, still, that's cute. You think that, Sure. Think whatever you want. Actually, no. I don't know. I don't know the casting department of Bold and Beautiful. I don't know who they are. I do know Mark Teschner at GH. He's a nice guy, but I don't know what the other one. I don't know about Bold, who does their Bolds. I don't know what they do, but I don't know. But maybe you're honest. Maybe when it comes to kid, they do whatever. But Jocelyn looks the same. Remember, she was the corn as a kid. And that's my buddy Eden McCoy. Wait, I'm just saying. They'll just know DC. Chat room. Like, no, but he loved it. They love our discussion. Thank you. Give GH credit for highlighting braids. Okay, I that's great. You don't see it very much on DTV. Well, also, I talked to Raven Bowens at the Emmys. Lovely girl, lovely person. And we talked about how she's a Black woman playing her sexuality. We don't see that very often either on soaps. And how she's playing this sexually fluid character that you don't see very much. Everybody's just focused on she's in love with twins. Well, that's the sensational part of the story. But they're like, but she's playing a character who's free with her sexuality. We don't let Black women be allowed to do that very often. So it was a great conversation. I thought we had a great conversation about that. There's something Again, something a little different. And I go, Days actually, they use their black folks. I mean, I have a problem with Jack K. Harry's acting, but other than that, everybody else, I'm like, she a legend. She a legend. She a legend. Yeah, she a prime time comedy legend. But some people, daytime is hard. It is. Loretta Devine did a great job on Beyond Salem. I'll say that. But you know,
I don't know about that.
Okay. Oh, you like her Beauregard.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
You like her Beauregard. Okay. See, these gentlemen, he's just being nice. He won't do like I do. I just name it. I don't care. I name it. What are you going to do to me? I can't do anything to me. But that's why Michael Jackson did it. Leave Michael Jackson alone. He's dead. Bring him in there. He had vitiligo or whatever. He had stuff going on. Leave him alone. Leave my Michael alone. So, Black love. Yes. Why don't we see Black gay love on soaps? You know why already. You already know why. There's two reasons why. Poor Felix. Where the fuck did he go? Why is he not on there? Come on, Albert. Tell me why he's not on there. Why is he not on there?
That's a really good question.
Right.
That's a really good question. I haven't seen. I almost forgot about it until you said something.
Exactly. Exactly. So you guys are asking in chat room. I'm like, I don't know. Yes, the shade is always present here at JLJ Media. It's always cooler in the shade.
Go ahead, James.
No, please go ahead.
It's I think that I was talking about this with Al a couple days ago. It's really tough for me as a viewer, like, because I watch British soaps, I watch South African soaps. So when it comes to these soaps, GH and YNR, it's very tough for me to watch them for representation, because I just feel like we've had such a lack of that I've now gotten to a point over the years. I was like, okay, I'm just watching it now just solely for the entertainment aspect of it, especially now that One Life to Live is gone. I just feel like in terms of representation, like you mentioned with Felix, I honestly thought they were going to put him together with Brad. So when they put him with Lucas, that just seemed so left field. I didn't really get that. I agree. I noticed when I watch soaps of other countries that you think would, maybe might have been behind of the times. They've already done that. The stuff that we're asking for here. And I'm like, okay, I thought this was a country diversity. So I kind of set my mind, especially at a younger age, watching soaps, that I was not going to get that representation. Like with Days, we saw that with Will and Sonny, and they got a storyline beyond them just being gay. I was going to have you about that too, because I feel like a lot of times they'll bring on these, especially like LGBT characters, they'll bring them on, they're just tokens, right? That's why Taraya, I don't know how that's going to go, Wine. I'll have to see how that pans out.
I'm curious too. I don't think
that's going to be done well. I just, because the audience of the Young and the Restless too, I just feel like it's, CBS Daytime to me has been very conservative, I would say. But I just feel like when it comes to soaps, like I said, I don't really, it's hard for me to want to watch them or want the representation, because I just feel like it's just never, especially GH, it's just, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to representation, GH is not really, besides the time Carlavati was on, I don't really think that was really their thing to put that in the writing, if that makes sense, to make that a staple in the writing. If that makes sense to you guys?
Yes, it does. The character's name was RJ. He had the braid, the locks on Wife to Live. It was RJ. Great character. Another great character. It was Hank and RJ. They were brothers. They were great. You remember them, Albert, right?
That brings me back. When you said RJ, I was like, wow. I still remember like that character and that story and everything.
Wait, we're talking, see, in the past, there is, like, I'm a little older than both of you guys. I don't know how much you know, but I remember watching One Life to Live and the whole Carla Hall story. She was passing for white. We find out she's black, but she's dating the white guy and the black guy. There was a whole big thing about that. Ellen Holly was a character's name. Al Freeman Jr. was the first black man to win an Emmy. So that was representation. And I do think of Young and the Restless with Drusilla. My friend, may he rest in peace, Christoph St. John, who played Neil Winters, who was the first black man to have an office, the first black man to have a business suit. He crossed so many barriers, and he was a leading man. And he was leading man. But he still was relegated to things. They tried to put him with Victoria back in the day, they got scared. Tried to put him with Nikki in a minute, they got scared. Anybody white, they got scared. But him and Drusilla, they were a great couple, and they had a great coupling, and they were a super couple. They still didn't get the same as like a Luca Laura or like a Stephen Kayla or these. I mean, I feel like there's still people still fight about Some of our digest. that Lonnie and Ilani should have been on the cover as they left. They were the first Black couple married on Days of Our Lives. I mean,
now, was it possible they weren't scared? There was possible there was no chemistry when you said they tried to put Neil with those certain people.
I felt there was chemistry.
Okay.
A lot of us felt. A lot of us. It wasn't the Black people. It was the white folks that didn't like it, who wrote in and got upset and stuff. It is. I felt like there was chemistry in a sense that, again, why wouldn't it's so? Neil was working for Victor. That was it. He was kind of his mentor. Why not follow with the boss's daughter? We just said about it earlier. It happens all the time. That's a regular soap storyline. And Heather Tom can act her ass off. We all know that. She has like 10 Emmys or whatever. They had chemistry. Nikki and Neil were both alcoholics trying to get better. Why not? But see, at the end, before he died, they had him and Ashley together. And even with that, they were slowly inching. And they were two mature people who've been friends for years, both gorgeous. I thought, yeah, why not? When it comes to interracial, that's the other thing too. It's like everybody loves Serena. I know Serena's the thing. Serena. Everybody's the thing. But interracial, I thought they did have chemistry. And it's like I said in Chatter, they had chemistry. But then he died in real life. So that kind of.
They also put Neil with Karen, right? I think when she was like his manager or something back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, he was a leading man. He was a leading man type. And so with leading men, they put you with lots of women, right? And that's kind of what they do on shows, right? I mean, I think. They said wanted to live. Hank and Nora, they were back. They had a kid and they were off and on, and then she was a Bo, and I mean all this stuff. They didn't care about the race thing on there. It seemed like they kind of just wove it in. Obviously, the Christian and Vega family was all dating up and through the Buchanans, and they were. I feel like Albert said earlier, they kind of mixed it together. So decently at least. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if everything was perfect. They did decently, I think, you guys. I mean, you agree. You both watched Life to Live, right?
I also just kind of feel like, oh, go ahead, Albert. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to sit there and say, I mean, what do you think of Molly and TJ, though?
We never see them. I wish I could care. I would love to care about them. I would love to. But they pull out Molly once every 2-3 months. I don't give really two shits about them. I wish I could. She comes from a legacy family. She's literally a Lansing, she's related to Sonny, she's a Davis, she's a Cassadine, and TJ comes from this, nice Black family, them together, they've known each other since they were kids. Again, actually a recast that wasn't that bad. Taquan Richmond, and they all look the same with the same coloring, same kind. It was all kind of cool. Same Molly this whole time. Now she's doing law. I would love to care about them. They just never show them enough. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I just feel like I wish they showed more of that.
Because they have such a huge cast. I'm sorry, they have such a huge cast. It's like you don't see people till like 3 or 4 weeks later, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I remember you. So,
you watch my show, you know how I feel about that. I want the bloated cast. I about that all the time. I think it's too much. Go ahead, DC.
I was gonna say, in terms of Y&R with Neo, I felt like, I don't know if that they didn't want to make him lead man, because I do feel like with Y&R, if it's not about Victor or Adam or Nick and them, like there's no other storyline. Even Victoria right now, Ashton Locke, this is the only thing making her interesting. I'm more interested in Diane, the venture that Lily and Devon and Nate have going on, but we don't see that because I feel like that the main storylines are reserved for those four. And I feel like it's very rare that some of the soaps known how to be an ensemble cast. I feel like One Life to Live, I got that sometimes on My Children. GH, definitely not until 2012. It was definitely not an ensemble cast until 2012. I could definitely say that. So yes. I felt like, for example, like Jesse and All My Children, we got to see him be a leading man, even when he came back in 2008, back from the dead. Like, I felt like, right. So I feel like it's very hard for me to say that. I think it's because that with Y&R that is. Because I just feel like I said, it's just all about those four characters even now. Like we'll see Billy and Lily probably every 5 weeks. We'll see them talk about the business once every 2 weeks, but Victoria and the Newmans are on every single day. It never fails.
Albert?
But that's sort of the same thing a little bit, even with like Sonny and the Corinthos and stuff like that. It's like you'll see them for a week or maybe a week and a half. And then at some point, oh yeah, Liz and her storyline. What's going on with that? All right, so we're gonna just go back to Carly and yeah. So
I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like, was General Hospital always this big of a cast? I feel like they, like you said, they did better different times. I mean, remember there was Nicholas and Gia. Speaking of couples, interracial couples, Nicholas and Gia were big after Emily left. But they had the Quartermains. They had a lot of Spencer stuff happening. You know, they had. I mean, there was. I feel like there's stuff going on. But what I feel like right now is the pacing. General Hospital, no, nothing shit happening. It's just the pacing is slow. Like you said, we'll see Vanna for a minute, then 5 weeks later we'll see him again. You know, like it's like you can't, you know, but yet they focus on this Cody character with Britt, which is so forced. Don't even start on that. But you know what I mean? Like you're right. They kind of focus on, and see, I broke the internet like a month ago on Twitter because I dared to ask the question. And yeah, I was being a little tongue-in-cheek. Does Carly have to be in every storyline? I said, that's what I wrote. And people just came and tried to rip me to shreds. Other folks were like, James, I agree with you. Oh my God. But folks are like, well, she's not in every storyline. I go, basically she is. If you think about it, her hands are in every storyline. That's fine. I don't against the actress. But I'm like, there's a whole other cast over here. I feel bad for them. They're just sitting here. I know most of them. They want to act. I actually know them personally. They want to go act. You know, but they're sitting there because for whatever reason, she's second on the call sheet or first on the call sheet. We know what that means, the term of who's in importance on the show. Because even she was on More Than Sunny. And you know Maurice Bernard's number one in the call sheet after Steve Burton left. You know he's number one. But there are folks out there who keep tally. I don't do all that. They keep tally who's on. And if you brought up Liz in this chat room, they were talking about Liz a little earlier in the chat room. Don't start with the Liz thing because people are pissed. She's been on 25 years. They let her go. The fans got her back, and she's barely on. So folks are pissed. I mean, when it comes to Liz, that's a story. They're just like, you killed Franco. You know, she's got like 3 kids, baby daddies, whatever. They're pissed that she's not on.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them for that though. She's been on the show for a while, and you would think they would give her something to do, and they give her this story, but then it's like it gets bumped down to like 3 weeks of like Carly and Sonny, and now Michael wants to then go after Sonny really hard, and I'm just like, but he killed your dad, and you weren't going that hard. Like, what's
there? You go.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Someone else said that there. There you go. The worst thing you did is you killed your father. Oh, they came for 5. They came for another super chat. She has a question for us. Well, I kind of talked about it a little bit. I guess you want to know more opinion. Chanel and the twins. I kind of brought up a little bit that she's playing a sexually fluid character who's in love with both twins. So I guess we'll ask Albert and DC what do you think overall about the relationship.
DC, you want to go first? Because I'm probably not going to be nice about it. You should go first.
You know, Chanel and John and Allie, honestly, I actually enjoy the storyline. I actually have because like I said, with Carlovati, I love the writing on Days. It's bringing me back to like 06, 07, One Life to Live. And when he wrote on GH in 2012, that's when the cast started to get balanced, in my opinion. I just feel like he has a way of just writing for every character where it really feels like an ensemble show. It doesn't always feel like everything is all about one person. So honestly, I enjoy the storyline. If I was Chanel, I would just steer clear of them because they're both possessed by the devil. I would just keep it moving. There are a lot of issues with that. Unless she wants that Demira money. If so, I understand.
That's so funny.
Try to hold out for the Demira money. So maybe that's the case. But other than that, I love the storyline. I love it.
That devil storyline went way too long. I'm sorry.
It did.
You were possessed by devil. You're possessed. Okay, Oprah. Like, everybody was possessed by devil. Albert, please tell me how you feel about this.
I'm so over it. All 3 of these characters just give me a headache, and from jump, I never really liked Allie. And then Chanel, she kind of got better for me. But like this whole 3 love triangle thing, I'm just like, boo, just pick somebody else. Because at the end of the day, she keeps sitting there whining, complaining, oh, I'm going to hurt somebody. You're going to hurt somebody. So then why try to mess up that bond between, their siblings or whatever, if you know that you're going to wind up hurting somebody. And it's just a whole mess. And I'm so over it. I'm like, if you really care, you would just pick somebody else. But Oh, who am I gonna pick? Woe is me. Shut up. I don't care anymore.
Who on the canvas you think be good for her?
No, at this point, I would say Trip.
Is he gone? He was on
Yeah,
Beyonce.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, if I had, and that's the sad thing is that I don't know.
Someone said Trip. Oh my God, someone in the chat room said I missed Trip. I know. They had chemistry. Trip and Chanel had chemistry. I think they had chemistry.
I would have went with that.
I like that. They said, now people are saying in the chat room, that's the problem. Days cast is too small and they're all related to each other. So there's the opposite. I kind of agree with them. There's the opposite. Like, I mean, because her and Xander were funny in their old fake marriage. They're kind of funny. But that was a fake marriage, obviously, or whatever. But yeah, who else could she go to? Let's say bring on some folks from Beyond Salem. They bring on, well, I guess Andrew Donovan's gay. They bring on Joey Johnson, I guess. Or Chanel could do something. I guess. I don't know. But you're right. The cast is very small over there, isn't it? Like, okay. And,
I feel like their family tree is just so far related. I'm surprised somebody didn't sleep with somebody by accident and they were cousins. Because it's just that weaved in together.
Well, EJ and Bell were almost cousins. They were cousins at one point before they were.
I was gonna say Guiding Light. There was cousins Jonathan and Tammy.
Yeah.
Who didn't care. They're popular too. They didn't care they were cousins. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care. But you're right. That Dave's family tree is. I used to do the show. I used to do Edition Days at AfterBuzz TV, and I used to do the Look Who's Related. And literally, I could pick a baby from here, an old chick over there, and I was like, "It's how they're related." Everybody in between. Days is that. That's one about Days. Yeah, that's I just. Oh yeah. Another date. So people are over that triangle too. Okay, over that triangle also. I don't like Allie at all, but I love Johnny more than her. Okay. Carson Bowman's hot. Sorry, he's hot. I've met him in person. He's hot. I'm gonna tell you, he's hot. Anyway, go ahead. Yes. Who's gonna say what? Oh, I acknowledge the hot men on the shows. Some of these men, I'm like, I meet him in person. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the vortex. I'm like, and I'll tell you something, folks. When you see Don Diamont in person, I shit you not, you melt. Whether you're a guy, girl, whatever. And he's almost 60 years old. And when I said, Don, and he ran over to me and shook my hand and said, nice to meet you, buddy. I didn't want to like a week.
He's
Bill
Spencer.
Bill Spencer.
Oh, Dollar Bill. Oh, that's my guy right there. I love Bill.
He's the bomb. He's really nice to person too. He's a bomb. But I'm like, he looked good. I mean, on our show, we point out who's hot. Because that, to me, that's half the reason why I watch these shows. I want to see some hot people doing bad things. That's what I want to do. I have no say. I'm an old dirty man, and I gotta get whenever I get my jollies, wherever. There's some hot folks on these subs. I was like, okay, kids. Mm-hmm. The pilot on Bold Bureau, I was like, who's that? Who's that pilot? Even though it should be me playing the role, Casey Kasperzak. You probably should be wrong, Bold and Beautiful. Anyway, I digress. So Black Love thinks there are 3 types of viewers. Viewers who have been watching shows since day one of the history, newer viewers, and fanatics. So Black Love, you watch my shows. You know my thoughts on this. I say there are 2 types of fans. Crazy folks and regular fans. And I do not digress from that whatsoever. There's no in between. There are folks who are cuckoo. Soap Twitter is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Soap Twitter is a mess. It is crazy. Every once in a while to make me laugh. Did some funny stuff. But they are cuckoo. And Facebook groups, Reddit, oh my God. Them fans of soaps are cuckoo. But then there are regular fans. So you guys, I want to ask them this question because they do opinion stuff. Do you guys have haters? And how do you handle any of that kind of stuff? Do you get people who go, I don't agree with you. You're stupid. I've gotten death threats. I have stalker. I got everything because I'm in a bigger platform. So I've gotten all that. So I was just curious for you two, have you gotten anything negative out of doing this?
DC, you should go first.
Nothing too crazy. I mean, besides the fact that I guess I ship Cena, Sonny, and Nina together. I'm a huge Nina fan. I don't like, contrary to the whole GH.
I like them together too. They don't put them together though. It's been how many months since fucking Nixon falls? Shit, that pace is higher too. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Other than that, which one of the reasons why I love Cena together is because I feel like Sonny's just being his true self. He's finally just, because to me, and I said this when I reviewed, Sonny has always been narcissistic, arrogant, and villainous in my eyes since the day I watched it. I see Albert's face, but since the day I watched GH, everybody loves Sonny. But to me, I've always had some versions of him, but I feel like now he's just owning who he is. It's like with Todd Manning. Todd Manning, he just always owned who he was, right? But like Sonny always had this holier than thou attitude, you know? And I like now he's just acknowledging, hey, like I am this person. That's who I am. So that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the many reasons why. But other than that, I don't get nothing too crazy on my channel. I think I get a lot of the right energy on there. I've never gotten anything too crazy. Maybe if I mess up like a fact here or two or there, someone will come to the comments correct me. But that nothing too crazy. I think Albert's got more stuff than I have.
Well, you're very fortunate. I would say you're very fortunate. But go ahead, please, Albert.
I think I get a lot when it's Bold and Beautiful, and you know, people sitting there calling me a Logan lover.
Oh
Yeah, that's just like
you like the Logan?
Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm sitting there saying like call me a Logan lover because I was coming at Quinn a certain way, or you know, I was judging an actor a certain way, and people would be like, "Oh, well, you're being pretty petty." I was like, "No, I'm being a reviewer. That's what I do." But I get to a point where it's just like, you know what? If I know I'm gonna get really like, well, to be a dick, I'll sit there and be like, you know what? Why don't you just head to DC Soap channel because I'm not gonna be nice about this episode. But it's just usually like me calling a Logan lover for some odd reason. That's about it.
I've gotten that. A Loganizer or whatever. I've gotten that. But people hate. Like I said, I actually know Captain Kelly Lang and I know Heather Tom. I was like, they're daytime legends. No matter what you do with the character, she's been on the show 35 years. She is the queen of Bold and Beautiful ever since Susan Flannery left. She got the mantle, and rightly so.
The writers haven't set her up well. That guys, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
But you know what I mean? I was like, she's been on this. Regardless of storyline and what they've done, she's been on there 35 years. Her and John McCook both been on there 35 years. They have earned their status, I think, on there. Now storyline, we can go into all that, but I think for me, I understand. So I just said she's a queen, and in real life, she's super nice. Like in real life, she's super. Every time I see her, she's super nice. Oh well, that's because you love Logan. It's like, no, I also like Taylor. Chris Allen's my friend. Actually, I love Taylor. I like Taylor also. So yeah, so I'm not Logan. I just actually can look at the show and look at it objectively because, like Albert said, we review the show, so we tell our opinions about what we feel about the show. I add, our styles are different, but I feel like the three of us probably do look at it with fresh eyes, and we say how we feel. I'm like, but I'm not like, oh, yeah, you guys always you just love the. I'm like, no, I don't love anybody. I'm just talking about the show. If they had a good point on this episode, then they had a good point on this episode. It's a Logan or there's a Forrester or whatever. Don't matter. If she was in the right in this episode, then she's in the right. I'm just gonna call it out.
I've said that so many times. Even with Sonny, and Sonny is like my favorite character, but there's times where I can't co-sign his BS, and I'll sit there and say it. And the same thing with Nina. Nina, I don't like, but there's times where I'm just like, you know what? As much as I like Carly, you're dead wrong about that, and I get backlash. So,
oh yeah,
I don't get the backlash that you get though.
I get it, folks. I love it. Bring it, bitches. I love it.
I think you get the most popular out of all three of us.
Oh, yes. I get. Well, I've been doing it for 7 years, and the thing is, when I joined AfterBuzz TV 7 years ago, it's dead, folks. So stop asking where it is. We had 1 billion downloads a month. So we had all these. We were huge. So I get the fortune, even though we started from scratch, we created our shows from scratch. We were on a network. So when that died and we went on our own and to my network, a lot of them did come with me. So that also means the bad folks came to you. They all came too. And I have no shame. I speak my truth, and I know it's my truth. I speak how I feel. And I choose when to do it. I don't do it all the time, but I choose when to do it. But I feel like fans are just crazy. So yell at me, call me names, whatever. I don't really, it doesn't bother me. But other people who are newer to this, they'll text me. I'm gonna get attacked for saying something. I'm like, that's how it is. You do opinion television. That's just part of it. I'm part of the Star Wars universe. They're cuckoo also. I'm part of the Hallmark universe. They're crazy also. I mean, so I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Star Wars fans are worse.
Oh, they're crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah, they're God.
but I love doing the shows, and I get big ratings. I love it. But no. So I get, like I said, I've gotten death threats when they're like, "We hate your daughter. We're gonna find her and kill her." Okay, just because I like a story.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's
I want to tell you. No, I want to tell you. The fandom that hated me the most was the Friends fans back in the day, because I did not like Friends. I was not a Franco Liz fan. I wasn't at first. I grew into a fan of theirs, but I was more of I was a Liaison fan. I also was a Liz and Rick fan. I like them together. But I was like, Franco, he's kind of crazy. I mean, whatever. Oh, they did not like that. Oh, they attacked me all the time. They come attack me in my shows. There has to be my co-hosts. One of my co-hosts, because she hated Sunny, Lucretia Lyons, she got attacked for like one woman attacked her for like a week and a half every day. And so like I said, we're used to it. So I just go, yes, Crystal Bush, all press is good press. That's right. Just keep tuning in and watching. There are folks who come to my chat, and you guys to my chat sometimes and talk shit about me in the chat. I'm like, sure, talk shit. I'll call you out in the chat room. I have no problem doing that. But I'm like, but once I get off this, my life goes on. I'm gonna make some chicken tonight for dinner and some rice. I'm gonna sit down, take my bra off, and watch some Big Brother. That's what I'm gonna do later. I mean, I don't give a fuck what you guys think. What do you want? But sometimes I will say something because I do feel like it's important. If it comes to a sexual orientation thing or a Black thing or just a storyline point, I just feel like that's part of my platform. I will say something, and if people don't like it, they have a right not to like it.
yeah, but there's a fine line between they didn't like your opinion and they said something, or they might have said something mean, to death threats, to stalking. Like that's an entirely different level. First of all, I give you a lot of props for dealing with the way you dealt with it, because that's nuts.
I had to change my phone number. I had one guy call me 60 times in an hour. He wouldn't stop calling me. Daisy Flower. Yeah, Daisy Flower and you're another one. She's like, I follow James. James and I disagree all the time, but we do. But we agree sometimes, Daisy Flower. Every once in a while, a broken clock is right twice a day. That's what we always say. Look at Albert laughing. Because we now don't agree on everything all the time too, but we come to agreements recently. Come to some. There's a couple guys today in here who don't agree with me. And we fight, go back and forth or whatever. Very once in a while we agree. It happens. It does happen, because again, it's soap opera. I mean, my life should go on. I don't wish anybody in real life any ill will. Maybe a few people I don't like, but
that's nice of you. You're more nice than I am.
I like, it's life. There are some folks I do not like in the business. I've been very vocal who they are, and you guys in the chat already know who they are. I'll repeat them again. There's some folks who actually did something to me, and that's why I have reasons not to like them. That's why it's so hard for me, because Robin Strasser is one of the people who does not like me, and I don't like her. And I love Dorian Lord. Robin Strasser is a legend from Life to Live, and it pains me that we hate each other. It pains me. It pains me that we had an open feud on Twitter years ago, she read something wrong that I didn't say and couldn't apologize or say she saw it wrong. And I'm sad because I love that character. And I can still say I love that character. Dorian Lord was the bomb on the show, but the actress didn't kiss my grits. So I can compromise both. Yes, Albert.
I do have a question for you, and this is just more about a creative question. Like, how do you sit there and deal when you're doing YouTube or whatever, and you look at some of the numbers and you feel like they should be higher? Like, how do you deal with that? Because I feel like for me sometimes it could be demotivating. I'm gonna be honest. So like, how do you deal with that?
That's a good question. I get to ask all the time by people I mentor in the business who are starting their channels and stuff. It's a crapshoot, you guys. It's all a crapshoot. It's like, well, here's one thing. Don't compare yourself to other people, because some people buy their numbers. They buy their followers. They buy their views. Because if you look at the engagement, if you have 20,000 followers and 2 people like your picture, there's something wrong. Now, we're on here right now. Up to 42 people came on to this live. That shows that I have 2,000 followers. That's good. They have a live show on a Thursday, and 40 people are in here. They're in the chat room. They're talking. Like, You guys have been in my chats before. I come in the morning. Like, I have engagement with my fans. And I always try to say, I try to look at anybody else. It took me last 8 years to grow what I have. It didn't happen overnight. And we started from zero scratch, building these shows. And as you guys know, it's not easy to sit down to a show. We don't just show up and do a show. But you have to plan it. What are you going to talk about? Can you talk about it? What order you want to talk about it? Getting thumbnails. Are you going to edit it? I mean, there's a lot that goes on. You guys know this. To put on a show. We don't just sit there and just, okay, I'm going to do it, and that's it. There's a lot of thought behind it. We have to watch the shows we're talking about. There's a lot that goes on. We put a lot of work into these things. And that's why I support content creators all the time. I think it's just we're working hard to give you some content. And when you get 42 views on a video, what the fuck? What the fuck am I doing this for? You get 100 views. There are some, even me, 8 years in, I have videos that have 60,000 and 18,000, but I have some interviews I go, I interviewed the #1 star of that show and it only has 300 views. Yet,
Laura,
yeah, exactly.
Kelly Monaco. Because I watched both of those and I'm looking and I'm just like, something not adding up. Because also I look at your subscriber base and I'm just like, wait.
Yeah, that used to puzzle me too.
It does.
I'm not the only person.
No, it's weird because we're all going through. I don't know what to do. I just feel like I just keep going, and I just keep just going, and hopefully, I know my numbers have gone up. Because I look at my analytics, they have gone up. I mean, my numbers have gone up in general, so they have. But it's hard work. I mean, I'm putting shit out every day, and I just keep putting it out. And some videos just hit really big. I had a video that did 2,000 in one day. I have no idea why. And another video I put my heart and soul into got 45 views.
But how does that? Okay, how do you not let that demotivate you?
Well, see, here's another thing. I offer everything audio and video. So for me, what's helped me is that a lot of my videos that may do 45 views on audio, I get 700. No, it's weird. My Star Wars stuff, I barely crack 50 views video. Audio, 700 to 1,000 views a week. Huge hits. And so for me, and like for my guys Edition Day, same thing, I just combine both. I go, okay, well, on this platform, I got 2,000 views or downloads. I got 200 over here. Well, that's 2,200. That's eyes and ears are on it. It's a hit for me. That's how I justify it for me, because I offer both. So it does help me keep going. My thing would be, if I've been doing it for 8 years at this point, and my views did not rise at all, I would quit. I'm very honest. I would do something else, because that just tells me either they're going somewhere else to get their GH news or Bold Beautiful News, or I do 9 soap opera after shows. They're all successful, thank God. But the numbers could be bigger. I think they could be bigger, but I get some good numbers. And in the long run, I think Kelly Monaco now's over 1,000. I think now's over 1,000. But it was a slow ride. So I'm wondering, is it because there's so much out there, they go to their regular, because Brock TV gets more bigger numbers than I do.
Yeah.
And I've been around a long time. And I don't do actually get guests. And I actually get them to go on shows. I'm like, and some do really well and some just do average.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying now, right? Like his numbers, it speaks for itself.
They're good. They speak for itself. It's good. And so does that mean he's better or worse? Probably not. It just means he's a guy who tapped into whatever the audience he got. So for me, I'm always building. And I always tell people, if you enjoy doing it, then just do it, whether regards to the numbers, and it'll come. And the thing for me is, I've had some wonderful things happen watching UDC, where Fido went into, I think he found you. Didn't he find you?
Yeah, he found me, yeah.
I mean, you didn't know who's watching. And he found you, and you got him as a guest on your show. You only been around a year. Yeah. I didn't even get to my show until like 3 years in. So I'm like, to me, that's a win. So I think it can be tough, but I enjoy doing this stuff. I enjoy doing it. I'm happy to be here. I have co-hosts. We have a good time. I tell people, I'm putting out quality work. And so my work will speak for itself. And for you guys too, it just will speak for itself. And somebody's watching, and then the right person may say, ooh, I want you to do blank. And it's a big project. You never know. You just never know. Or once you be on a bigger show, like once you come on the show, You never know. So I just keep saying, if you enjoy doing it, fuck the numbers, just keep going. And eventually some stuff will break through. But it took me 8 years to get here. Because I mean, 2 years ago, I only had 300 subscribers on my channel. I have over 3,000 now in 2 years. But that's like every day pumping out shit for everybody.
Running out.
Right. And it's kind of like, but I think you're right. After a while, I'm saying a long while, if nothing's moved, there's no movement. Then you don't have 1,000 followers, Albert. I saw you don't have 1,000. I saw that. And also got to ask yourself, are you promoting accurately and correctly? I found there were a couple times like, I'm not promoting. I'm only promoting on this platform. I should promote on this platform, and then something exploded, or I should share it here. I'm always looking at how can I market myself better. Also, what can I do to market myself better? Because sometimes it's me. I'm like, oh, I didn't push that show out hard enough, and that can make a difference also. But it's hard work, folks, you guys. I get that question. That's the more question I get from everybody who gets in this business. My numbers, it is a numbers game, and it's tough. But I've gotten some great stuff out of this. Not even having huge numbers. So if I can, what?
No, so DC, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, just really quick about like in terms of that, because when I first started my channel, I think I created, because I don't have any social media, so I created a Twitter. I was on Twitter for a hot minute, and I kind of got a little crazy. I got a little bit crazy. And the crazy thing about it is I created because I wanted to promote the channel and stuff. And it's weird, like I would post and little snippets and like nothing, but like when I would like, try to get into like friendly soap banter, I thought was friendly soap banter about the show. That's when stuff would start blowing up, And
I agree there, DC, I'll tell you something. I laugh because I said when I was a nice guy, nobody gave a fuck on shows. When I started ranting, everybody tuning in. They're tuning in and see what James says next. They're tuning in. But one day I tried to do a night. I said, okay, I'm doing a nice show today. I seriously had like 15 people watching. Everybody just left. They're like, fuck James. They left because I was being too nice. Like, she was
I felt like they wanted, I felt like, especially when I was seeing on Twitter, everyone wanted just like sensationalism of it all. Because honestly, I feel like in doing my channel, it was tough for me at first, but especially when I talk with Albert, we're just kind of like, we just got to let it be what it is, the numbers, because there'll be times where I'll spend like hours editing my video, adding an intro, doing this, because I do all that stuff. And I can only do it once a week. I can't do that every day. It would drive me crazy. But it was just like, I would do that and then post it on some Twitter and then nothing. But then I was like, oh, you know what? I don't agree with Luke and Laura's legacy. What you saw before? Are you? And all this stuff was starting. And I'm like, okay, whoa. And I thought it was friendly so banter. I had to realize Twitter is still Twitter. I didn't, I hadn't had social media, so I wasn't aware. I wasn't abreast of these things, So I kind of learned quickly how fan base can get really crazy. But I noticed that they just want that sensationalism a lot of the times, and I felt like I'm trying to promote my channel. So it's funny enough that I think one day I did a video like Return from the Dead or whatever, top 5, that like 7,000 views, no promotion on. I'm like, okay.
Right, it's weird. Crystal says to you guys, 1,000 subscribers ain't bad. Stay authentic. The energy will draw the right people. Nobody wants Mr. Rogers, but they want you to be openly passionate. That's what you're calling me, openly passionate? Yes. I try to be a mix of sorts. Because I remember, I will not say their names. They threw me some shade. And I'm like, well, James, we're not like you guys on your shows. You guys just like, I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, sure, okay. And all of a sudden, I tuned into one of their episodes, and it was oddly like mine. Suddenly, the shade was coming through their shows. I'm like, oh, you give me a little attitude because we have shade on our show. We call it Shady Sundays, and we did it for 7 years, and we call it for years. But we don't do gossip. We never do gossip or spoilers. There's two things we never do. But if I know something about somebody, I allude to whatever. But they would give me attitude about it. But suddenly they're doing it, and they're getting big views now. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, okay. It wasn't okay that I was doing it, but suddenly you're doing it. I should out them. Fuck them. I'm gonna do it. But I was like, I think it's very interesting. People are watching each other. I just want to say, I know you guys. Everybody's watching each other. There's room for all of us. I think there's room for all of us. These folks love talking about General Hospital. They love talking about Bold and Beautiful. They love talking about it. There's room for all of us. But I just say stick with it. I say if you like doing it, you generally just like doing it, keep doing it. and something good has to come from it at some point. I feel like you stay on the road. That's what Ed Asner told me. The late Ed Asner told me, stay on the road, and you'll get there. I mean, it'll just get there. And I've been on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I was in People Magazine recently about Steve Burton. I mean, some things come to you. You never know who's watching you, who's going to come to you. I really do believe that.
You are 100% right about that. You're 100% right about that. And it's funny because like this whole week or whatever, when I was sitting there talking about, you know, coming on your show and everything like that, you know, sometimes I sit there and laugh and be like, you know, listen, I get it. You know, sometimes me and, you know, James, we got, you know, sometimes we, you know, we bump heads a little bit, but you know what, at the end of the day, regardless, you know, whatever, you know, I respect his hustle and I respect his work ethic, and he's grinding every day, and he's, you know, you got connections and accomplishments and things like that. And that wasn't overnight. That was hard work. So I was like, you know, regardless of, you know, if we don't agree about this or agree about that, I still respect the dude. You know, I still respect him for his work ethic, you know?
I appreciate that, Albert. No, I do. I really appreciate that. That's very nice you say that. And I think my whole thing is I try to be very transparent. I show people that I do work really hard, and I did earn everything I've gotten. I've earned every single thing I've gotten. I've earned, and that's partially because I am Black. You have to earn it. Things are handed to us. I'm also older. I came into business in my 40s. I'm not this young, hot thing where everybody wants to be around you all the time. I had to show them I had personality. I had to show them I had work ethic. I had to show them that I actually like the soap opera genre. I don't hate watch anything. I actually love the soaps. I do. And I hope that comes across to people that I do love the soap world and the soap actors and the soap shows. I like them. I want them to succeed. I do. I really do. I hope that comes across, that I'm just like to people that I grind out. I try to get the interviews for you guys. I'm the only person who talks to Taraya. Speaking of Taraya, I'm the only one in the business. I have 60,000 people who watched one video, 20,000 who watched the other. Like, I'm the only one because I fought for the fans to have this couple who is groundbreaking on television should be sit down and interviewed and give back to the people. So I try to work very hard. So Albert, I do appreciate that very much. I do. I try to work very hard. You can say anything you want to about it. You can't say I don't work hard.
That's the thing. I was talking to the day I was sitting there talking to you, I talked to DC Sanctuary afterwards. And this is when we were sitting there talking about the whole race thing or whatever. And I guess in my mind, I felt like at the time you blew everything or what I said out of proportion. But then when I talked to DC Sanctuary and he watched it, he was like, yo, everything was fine. What are you talking about? And I was like, you know what? I want to sit there and try to do a show with him. Let me and DC do a show with you because it'll be really interesting. So.
Well, if you look at that episode, I was asking you for clarification, like, what do you mean? Because sometimes in writing, it's hard to see what someone means. I can say, Albert, in talking, what do you think about this? You can tell me. In writing, it's hard because also you try and type, and I'm also seeing all everybody else's comments at the same time. So
I got for that because I've seen James go in on people. That was not going in.
Exactly.
I've gone off on people. Trust. I have. I will stop a show and then reprimand somebody. I have no shame with that whatsoever. You don't come on my show and just I've done it several times. But with you, I didn't. Yeah, I remember that time. It was more like I want clarification. Like, what do you mean by this? How do you find that? And then you did eventually. We got it out. But yeah, I trust me. You want to see James really go? I can. Oh, I can. Trust me.
I felt like I kind of blew it out of proportion, but I was like, you know what? Let me get another pair of eyes. So I had DC Sanctuary sat there and looked at the video. It was like, yo, it was fine. What were you talking about? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Because I've seen James going on people. That was like, he was really having a conversation. I haven't really seen on James live. So I was just like, yeah, this seems like a conversation to me.
Yeah, we were going back, you and I were going back and forth. I was like, what do you mean by that? And please tell me this. And I feel, but yeah, no, I've gone off. Trust me, I have no shame in doing that. When someone comes into my chat, hey, come to my show, you get what you get. Sometimes, but no, I don't hate watch shows. I love shows, and and there's people I don't agree with. That's fine. I mean, I know there's people who love certain characters. I don't love that character. I don't think that's fine with me. I don't care. But what I don't like the most sometimes is soap fanatics, not the fans, the fanatics will make up things to fit their narrative. And a lot of times they're wrong. Or I do a lot of, I heard that Chris Allen was drunk on your show. She was not drunk on my show. I know Chris Allen, she's my friend. She was not drunk on my show. If she was, you should know me. I would tell you she was. That's how I am. But it's like, you're not gonna talk shit on my show about her either. Or I had a guest on there like, James, you're elitist. I'm like, I'm not elitist. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what the fuck that means. And they kept saying in my chat, tell me, and other guys, yeah, James thinks he's all that, blah, blah, blah. Well, I am all that, so fuck you. And I stopped the show and told them about himself. But and then they left. And I told them about themselves, they kind of left. But I know some people are shit stirrers. They stir the pot they can. So there were trolls, obviously, come in there. I asked some people who actually hate me. They just hate. They don't like anything I say. They hate me or my co-hosts. They don't like them either. But again, I don't hate watch shows. And if you feel a certain way, I'm like my girl Michelle Stafford. We're good friends. She came on my show one time. She said, "You don't like my character? That's your right not to like my character. That's the point. I come on because I'm doing a job. I come on. I'm here to do a job. Either you like Phyllis or you don't like Phyllis. Okay. She's like, I'm not going to argue with you about why you don't like Phyllis. Like, it's like, in some ways, it's like, just let it go. It's like, so you think this storyline sucks? Okay. I think it's great. Okay. I'm like, that to me it's just other stuff that comes up for me that I will start. But it comes to just basic stuff like, I don't care for that couple or I like this couple. Oh, that's fine. You like Rich and Brooke together? Okay. I'm not going to go after you about that. Like, who cares?
Well, I mean, I was going to sit there and say how, because you said somebody said that like, they think that, you think that you're all that or whatever. So I guess my question is, how do you go, I don't know the right way to sit there and say it, but like, how do you present confidence without making it seem like you are, you think you're all that? Like, how do you draw that line? Because you've done this for a while. Like you have accomplishments and things like that, and that's something to be proud of. But I guess my thing is like, how do you project confidence without seeming like you're overconfident? If that makes any sense.
It does. Good question. I feel like because I've had
Get to your head. I not like it. How you not like the stuff that you do get to your head?
No, I know because I've had everything. Because I will go. I'll win this major award, which is on my mantle. I won 2. An ISA award, and I won this major award. And the next day, someone said, "God, James, you're so fat." So literally, the fans bring you back to life every time. So I mean, like, but seriously, it's like life. Even if I thought I was high class and hoity-toity and ritzy-titsy, I'll read a comment that goes, "God, James, your teeth are so fucked up. Get them fixed." Because I like a storyline. Or God, your hair is ugly. What's like? You're a poodle. Like, what's going on? Like, that brings me back to life. So I have a sense of humor that brings me back to life. It's like, just when I would think I'm all that, I don't. Because literally, see, I'm older. I came to this business at 46. I am 53. I have nobody to compare. I mean, I'm not competing with anybody. I'm happy to be here. I know how life could be shitty. I've been through so much stuff. I know exactly, just being a Black man in America, I know how hard it is to be here, that I'm happy just to be here talking to you 2 gentlemen. And that's how I feel about everything that I do. I'm so excited to be here at the table. I have my own network. I have my own shows. I'm in charge. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm very happy about that. So it's not so when I win awards or I go on Jimmy Kimmel Live or I have a viral video or things that happen, to me, it's just like, they're all just icing on the cake of my hard work. So I just view it that way because it can leave tomorrow. I mean, I was paralyzed for a year. From 2018, I got Bell's palsy. My whole left side of my face was paralyzed. I couldn't talk. I couldn't swallow, chew, eat. The pictures are out there. You can see my face was completely paralyzed. I thought my life was over. I wanted to kill myself. I thought my life was over. So I've been humbled by those that life can change in 2 seconds. So I am no better or no worse than anybody else, but I will toot my own horn when necessary. And I will, and I am a goat in this business. I've worked very, very hard because I did work from scratch and I smiled at people and I did what I was supposed to do. I followed directions. And so I never think I'm all that. I am some of that. I'll take some of it. I'm some of that. And I know how to balance that because with my fans, the Lotties and all that stuff, I get recognized on the street and they come up to me and stuff. I just feel like it's kind of fun. It's fun. It's just a fun thing that I do. And, and my life has other things going on too. I have other things I do. But to me, it's like, this is fun. So I never really get to my head because I mean, seriously, I can wake up tomorrow, and that's it, or not wake up tomorrow, or get 2 views on a video, and that's it, and never come back from it. Like something I could say something that's too outrageous, and you know how that goes, cancel, and that'll be it, and life will have to go on. You know what I mean? So I think for me, I like people, I like doing this. I feel like if I can do it, you all can do it, and I'm much more of a village type person. I feel like my job as one of the elder statesmen is to be there for you younger folks and for everybody to lift each other up in this business. That's why I feel like that's my job. So I will never feel like I'm all that. So when someone says you're elitist, I'm like, what are you talking about? I help so many people in this business, from the actors to behind the scenes people to you guys. I'm here for everybody. I help so many people that I'm like, what are you talking about? I helped Alan Locker. I've helped Tony Moore. I mean, I've helped people with all their stuff, because I feel like we're all part of the same business. So I will never feel like I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I am sliced bread, but I'm not the best thing since sliced bread. So that's kind of, I stay humble, because not just because I'm trying to make everybody love me or anything, because everybody's not going to love me. But I just feel like that's how it is. Just that life is just very fragile, and I've been through some shit. So I just think I'm just happy to be here. So when I talk to you guys, when I'm here on these chats and everything, I'm like, it's because I love it. I just love it. Yeah. This to me is a luxury for us. We're 3 Black men sitting right here talking about soap opera and shit. That's a luxury. 20 years ago, this could have happened. 10 years ago, this could have happened. 30 years ago, we were fighting for our rights. I was being bussed out to a white school because I was Black. I mean, I noticed there were jobs I had in the 80s that I couldn't have my hair a certain way because it was too ghetto. You know, things like that. There were things I had, and I couldn't say nothing. I'd get fired. So for me, this is like a dream. I'm sitting at my bedroom talking to 2 guys about soap operas. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at everything.
That's good.
I wanted to add something, if that was all right. You know, in terms of, we were talking about earlier about the, you know, sometimes the fanatics and stuff like that. Because one thing I will say is, like, even me, I watch other people's reviews, whether it's James, whether it's Albert or Rock TV or Sabrina, Faith GH and GHNV, and like, I never, you know, like when it comes to the fanatics and stuff like that, people just go over the top. And I always just watch it just with like, okay, this is their opinion and they're bringing something new. Because if everyone had the same opinion, it'd be boring. Like the fact that I'm a huge Cena fan, or like, you know, Albert is so, you know, pro Sonny and Jason and stuff like that. Like it brings something totally like a different perspective to the table that we all bring. Now I can't watch everybody. I think I'm subscribed to like at least 20 self-review channels. There's a lot of them coming out. You know, so when I'm watching new ones, I'm like, okay, I want to see what's that unique take that I can get from it, right? Or what is that the unique thing that they're bringing to the table with their channel? So it's like that thing. It's like there's always something from everybody, and then just like as me as a viewer, I'm watching other people's channels. I just like, okay, like Albert will sometimes say, oh yeah, Sonny is my guy. And I'm like, oh, here you go with the Sonny stuff. And I was like, so watching, I'm laughing through his review, or he's probably watching me like, oh, here DC go with the Nina stuff again. But he's probably laughing, watching me, you know? But it's like, it's so cool how we all have like the different views. And I feel like my subscribers, I feel like they get the gist of that, like that type of energy with me at least. So it's so kind of cool to see that. So I just wanted to add that in, like just with the analysis, because there are some fans that just take it to the next level. Like they're ready to meet you outside your house.
Yes.
You know, it's like another level of that. I just want to add that in real quick.
That's true. Yes, Albert, you want to say something?
No, I was just sitting there saying, like, you know, as far as like you get certain fans because you say things that other people may not agree with, and so you get like the most smoke. I got to give you credit for that, because I get criticism every now and then, but sometimes I have to sit there and take it, depending on what it is. You know, I can either learn from it and do better, or I can be like, no, I'm good. But I haven't got the criticism or the death threats that you got. I'm blown away. Like
my co-hosts have been through a lot. Trust me. That's Tammy Govea, Amanda Russ, Lucretia Lyon, Carla Renata, Frank Verman. We've had all over the last 7-8 years. We've had a lot of different things come to us, and we know for our shows, a lot of the actors watch our shows. So I know that. I actually know some of the certain ones who watch. Lawrence watches our Bold and the Beautiful all the time, and I mean, I just, you know, and my cousin is Christian J. LeBlanc, and so he watches my stuff sometimes. And so I mean, there's some of them actually watch our shows. So they know what we say. They know what's going on, and they laugh along with us. They get it. Everybody gets it.
Well, that's kind of a question I got for you then. So like you say that like a lot of your friends or whatever in the business watch it. So do you feel because of that like you have to adjust your perspective, or you won't go hard on a certain character because this person is playing it, and you know this person? Like, does that factor into your discussions when you talk about soaps?
Nope. I'm that man. I mean, and they know, and usually I usually will preface myself. Now, I'm friends with my homeboy. I love him to death. I'll say that. And I tell my co-host, if it's about the character, go right ahead. It's the character. If it's the writing, go right ahead. We're not attacking the actor, who's my friend. I'll never attack my friends. I'll never attack them on air. I would never attack them. But I would say, I mean, Kelly Monaco, that interview was my favorite because Kelly was like, yeah, sometimes I'm dead in the eyes when I play Sam. Like, she was like so real.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love her. I'm like, I love you now. I like you. And I'm the one who kept saying, bring Lindsay Hartley back. Bring Lindsay Hartley back. That's me. But I was like, but no, now that I think that, for me, it's like, no, I think the actors my friends get that these are opinion shows. A lot of times they agree with me and I'm my co-host. Sometimes they'll tell me off camera, I agree with you. See, then they'll tell me stuff, behind the scenes stuff that I don't know about. So they'll share things with me. So a lot of times they'll be like, we saw your show last week. Let me tell you what really, they'll tell you, oh, okay. That's why that happened.
But have you ever gotten to a point when you're talking about the show, whatever, you're talking about whatever, and have you ever got to a point where you're just like, listen, I like this guy or I like this actress, but I felt like they weren't bringing the A game this week, as far as acting is concerned?
Well, I've had the opposite. I've been very open about Wes Ramsey and his portrayal as Peter. I've been very open about that. I know Wes Ramsey, and so we have a long little history. But I hated his portrayal. I don't think it was the right. I think it was him. I think his acting was atrocious, and I said it all the time on the show. And so he was a guest on my show when I wasn't there. So I thought it was kind of funny. I would have never asked him on. But I really do. If Jackie Harry probably don't come on my show because I talk about her acting is not thinking on the show. Even though I respect her as an actress, but I feel like I will be doing a disservice if I don't tell. It's an opinion show. If I don't say something, and I choose my words carefully. So if I say it, it should be out there. If she finds out, come on my show and talk about it, Jackie. Let's talk about it. You want to yell at me? That'll bring some ratings. Shit, come on here, Jackie. Call me all kinds of bitches and motherfuckers, whatever. I'll be fine. I will sit and take it with a smile on my face and let the views come in because that'd be hot. People be like, James and Jackie Harry after. Yeah, come on, folks, come on in. Me and Teacher Hall had a big thing happen when I was interviewing her years ago. She don't like me. That's fine. But if you said, James, I want to come on your show and tell you why I don't like you, come on, girl, come on in. The water's fine.
I would love to see an interview with you and Jackie Harris. I would like that to happen.
Let's make it happen, but folks. Make it happen. Make it happen. It's good. Now we'll talk about it. I'll be like, girl, what's the problem? Are you having a hard time with the lines? Or are they making you talk like that? Like, what's going on? That's what I would ask her.
What is it about her acting that you find so?
It's not good. Like, everybody else is so good. Everyone else is so smooth. It's not smooth. And I'm trying to figure out, because me and a couple people were talking about this off camera. I'm not going to out them. I'm not going to out them because they do shows. But we talked about this. I'm wondering if they're trying to make her that way. It's her delivery. It's like she's always jumpy or jittery as she's talking. And I feel like on everything else I've ever seen her on, she's just to sit there. She's wonderful. Just like a wonderful actress. No issues whatsoever. Great comic timing, everything. I was very impressed they brought her on and actually use her. I was scared they were gonna bring her on just for shits and giggles and then not really use her. But Paulina has major storylines.
Yeah, she had a couple of them.
That makes it kind of worse. Because I'm like, everybody else is acting as smooth, hers is as smooth. So I was that's my problem.
See, I got a lot of smoke from me talking about Finn. Because I was like, I felt like he wasn't bringing it. And the minute I said something, somebody was like, well, how are you sitting there talking about this person, you know, and they're acting? You can't do what they're doing. You're being very petty. I'm like, no, I'm just being a reviewer. That's what I do. Like that's my gig. Like I don't I'm like I have nothing personal
Albert,
against
tell
him.
them I'm not an actor. And it's not my job to be comparative to him. He's getting hired for a job. Now I'd love me some telenovela now because we've met him. He's hot. He's gotten better. I actually liked him this last couple weeks.
No. This week it was great, but I'm talking about like in the past I've said something and it's just
you know who else? You know who else was stiff in the beginning? And he came on our show and talked about it, was Ryan Pavey when he played Nathan. When he first came on, he was very stiff. They used to call him the Tin Man, he said, on the set, because his acting was so wooden and everything. And we used to make jokes about how wooden his acting was. He came on our show, nice guy, very smart guy. He's a very smart guy. And he said, yes, my acting was wooden when I first started. We all kind of like, we talked about it on the show. We're like, well, kind of like, oh, he's actually bringing it up. I mean, I'm saying that, yeah, you're right to say Finn's acting was Finn. Tanner's acting wasn't the greatest. You're right to say that. You're reviewing the show. You're thinking, okay, it's not that good. He's gotten better, and so and it's working out. But I'm saying that, so you're right to say that. You're right. We're reviewing the show.
I thought you were going to say Scott Clifton for a second because it was kind of a little bit rough in the beginning for me. Scott Clifton, the one who plays
really?
Liam on B&B.
You didn't like him on as Dylan on General Hospital?
Dylan General Hospital was fine, but just in the beginning as Liam, it was a bit rough around the edges for me. And then the thing with Loretta Devine, when she was on Beyond Salem, I felt like Loretta Devine was playing Loretta Devine. She wasn't playing the character. That's how I felt when I watched the show when she was on.
But her delivery was smooth.
I don't know. It didn't see. The thing is, it's so weird because I think Jackie Harry is killing it on days, acting superb. But Loretta, I don't know. I felt like they got her for the name and she's just playing Loretta Devine. Like I didn't feel like she was playing that character for whatever reason.
But she always kind of played Loretta Devine and everything, kind of at this point.
Yeah,
we love her. No, we love her. And she
we do. Yeah.
So we love her. She's a national treasure and blah blah blah. But you know, I mean, she kind of plays. You know, it's almost like Jennifer Lewis. Kind of plays Jennifer Lewis. I mean, she's the bomb. I love Jennifer Lewis, but she kind of plays an iteration of that.
Who's Jennifer Lewis?
Oh, go ahead.
Who's Jennifer Lewis?
Oh, sorry. Who's in Blackish, and she's called the mother of Black Hollywood, and she's a wonderful actress. I mean, she's so, oh my God, when she speaks, everybody wants to listen.
If you Google her, you'll definitely remember her. If you Google her,
if you saw her face, you know who she is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Jackie used to be on soaps though. Like she used to be in Another World back in the day.
So I brought it on, and I apparently it didn't do her justice. I mean, that's just. I mean, I'm like, okay. I mean, I used to was too on certain things, but I don't mean I'm good at everything like I used to do. I mean, I don't know.
Like Wes Ramsey, I feel like his acting would have done marvelous on Passions. I did like his acting, Wes Ramsey.
There you go. Another show that's crazy. Yes, on a crazy show like Passions, possibly.
On Passions, it really. I think the viewers would have accepted it more but yeah. But I enjoyed it though. It was different from everything else on campus. I enjoyed it.
Well, you know, he was on the show for a reason.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know.
James, did you ever watch Port Charles though?
Oh yeah, I watched Port Charles. I watched Night Shift. I love all those spin-offs. Port Charles was cool because it was very much like I remember when they got to the novella stage. We're doing every 3 months a new story. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Because Port Charles got me into GH. That's how. Yeah, because I would watch One Life to Live, and then Port Charles was interesting, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm watching half of the show since they're in the same universe. So I'm like, you know what? Let me sit there and give GH a chance. And I just loved it. So I was just watching all 3 of them.
Wow. So one second, you guys. So everybody in the chat room, thank you for being in here so far. We have 37 people. I have 30 likes. Thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat so far. You can give it that way or buymecoffee.com, which Kirsten did this morning. Thank you, Kirsten. I got my coffee. It's buymecoffee.com/JamesLottJr. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/JamesLottJr. where I have all kinds of bonus stuff. My famous friends come on there. So there's 3 different tiers. Go on and see all our bonus from Y&R, Bona Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital bonus content from James Lott Jr. and his famous friends. That's patreon.com/James Lott Jr. And we have merchandise. I don't have it in front of me right now. I put it away. But JLJmedia.threadless. I got to hack my wares, you guys. JLJmedia.threadless.com. We are an empire. We're working it out. Buy a t-shirt. Buy a mug. Buy a towel. I don't know. Whatever. Like, buy something. Anyway, I got to do that every once in a while. I got to sell my wares.
No. Mug is great. I love mugs. I gotta get one.
Yes,
I gotta get one.
they're
I'm
all
using plastic cups right now. I gotta get a mug.
gotta get a mug. It says, don't mess with Loretta Devine. No, I'm on Loretta Devine's fan. I'm the one who likes her. He's the one who didn't like her. I liked her. Yes, she's original Dream. I saw her in Dream Girl. Thank you very much. I know Cheryl Lee Ralph. That's my buddy. So I know. I watched all that. It wasn't me. I'm on her side. I liked her. It was DC. Yell at him.
Damn, threw him under the bus. Wow.
I know.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah.
James was like, get off me, go on him. Please.
Yeah, go at him. Don't go on me. I didn't do
He's the one
anything.
you
I
want.
like her. He said he liked her. He liked Beauregard. He didn't like that. Like that. So that's not James, not JLJ. It was DC. Wrong initials.
I just thought she was gonna have a more of a major role. It fell flat for me, Loretta. It fell flat.
Well, no, I get that. And the thing is, there are no real black folks on this Beyond Salem. So besides my buddy Tony Moore, who played the
bartender, right?
Episode 1, he played Terrence. He played the DJ. So that's my best buddy, the guy who got me in this business. I would not be here if it wasn't for Tony Moore Jr. His dream happened since he was 11 years old. Now he's 100. And he got on Beyond Salem. So he got to act Drake Togerson and our friend Christopher Sean. So dreams do come true at some point. It took 100 years for him. He'll watch this and laugh because we also are each other's ages. It took 100 years for him to get on there, and he made it. But he did a great job. And see, his acting was fine too.
I was happy to see him on there because, like I said, I'm actually familiar with Tony Moore and you from Dishing Days on AfterBuzz. Yes. So I was happy to see that for him. I know he was probably ecstatic about that.
He was. He told me a long time. I couldn't say anything to anybody. We talk every day. But he's the reason why I'm here. So you can blame Tony Moore at Lounging with Tony. Go ahead and blame him and say, why is James Lott Jr. here, unleashed to the world? It's because I went on his show as a guest when he wasn't there, and the fans loved me. And I said, you're not getting rid of me, bitches. And then I stayed. Then I was in. He couldn't get rid of me. And then I said, do you have a General Hospital after show? They're like, no, James. Why don't you go out and make one? Okay. And I did it. They told me later, we didn't think you were going to do that. But now we know who you are. That makes sense. I said, don't tell James Lott Jr. something. I'll make it happen. He said, JLJ, I was talking DC. So
they got me there. You
gotta make sure you punctuate correctly. Make sure the punctuations are very important. It's like, let's all eat grandma or let's eat grandma. You know that's a story. So make sure you punctuate differently. Okay, thank you. That's a clarification. Thank you, Films 5555555. Thank you. Make sure. I will live in who I talk shit about. So this was not one. That's one of the few I wasn't actually. Yeah, my chocolate twin, Tony Moore. Yes, we're not even really looking anything alike, but that's our thing.
So just to reiterate, it was DC Sanctuary that was talking. I
was just remember the bus too.
If everyone forgot, I just want to put that out there again.
Oh my God, I love it. That's right. We can talk forever, but we've done now 2 hours. We're going to end the show. Right. So one of these days, I'm saying this on camera, so it's all time stamped and asked. One of these days, we should do a recap of a show.
I was just thinking that too. I agree.
I'm with it.
Okay. So we'll set that up. We'll figure out like when to do it. We'll do it. We'll do a recap of the show. And we'll do it during the week. We'll pick like I don't know whatever show it is, and then maybe do maybe for a couple of, and then we see everybody can see how we talk about it. It'd be very interesting to see how we talk about it together.
Yes. I'm with it.
I love that. I love the idea. I love it.
So okay, now folks, they're going to tell you where you can find them. If you don't find them, I'm going to find you. So make sure you follow them. So Albert, you go first. It's your turn to promote.
Just Albert Bostic on YouTube. Just search me up and, do reviews Monday through Friday. So
follow him, Albert Bostic. And you, DC Soap Sanctuary.
You can find me on YouTube, DC Soap Sanctuary. That's my name, just like that. DC Soap Sanctuary here on YouTube. And I do my reviews on the weekends. So you can find me on here. And I'm trying to see if I can post a link in the chat, but I could, yeah. But yeah, I'll try to post that for you guys, yeah.
Okay, I'll put their names in here right now. So follow them at these one and DC's Soap Sanctuary. So type that in, you guys. Follow them. Tell them James sent you. And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. all social media platforms. That's right, kids. Follow me. I'm everywhere, you guys. Even on TikTok. I'm a TikTok star. So you can follow me on TikTok for all my shenanigans on there. Also on Instagram. I'm just everywhere. Just follow me everywhere. Yell at me, love me, hate me, whatever you want to do. Just don't call me late for dinner. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's later.
It was a blast. It was a blast.
Yes, we're not done yet, and we're gonna do some more stuff together. And DC is gonna be and he's coming up in one of my shows, and he's gonna be in another show that we're gonna start recording soon. So look out for him on my audio dramas, which are everywhere. This show is on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media, and also every single streaming service platform you can think of, from iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple, and everything in between. Look up Extra Connections, and you'll see it. It's there. We're at over 200 episodes of the show. So check out that, my other 49 other shows I have out there. Check any of those out and enjoy. And on Sunday, we're back again. The Sunday Soap Block is back. Wine Army Spotlight, Bone Beautiful Me Spotlight, and GH Me Spotlight. 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Me, Amanda Russ, Tammy Govea. We got a lot to talk about. Bold and Beautiful and Young and Russ, we got a lot to talk about. And on General Hospital, whatever. Me and Frank Moran, but we're talking about that on live on Sunday.